Bam. Hey, y'all. We are having another live moment in creating your own lane. This time we're gonna be talking about reestablishing trust. Hmm.
Mhm.
Myself, I am Mayet Ajay Ib, and this is my beautiful co-host, Ujo Wajet.
Hello.
So, reestablishing trust. Why not dive right into it?
Let's go.
What do you need to reestablish trust with? So many different things. But when you're creating your own lane, most of the times you need to reestablish trust with yourself, with your own self, because there are some things that you have done, honey, that cause a little rift in your journey. And because of that, you've gotten a little shy, a little lackluster. You probably didn't want to do much. And you don't want to take the big leaps and bounds that it's going to take for you to get where it is that you are so desperately trying to reach when you don't have trust in yourself. So you need to reestablish trust in order for you to, with self, in order for you to regain that confidence, in order for you to get to that space of gnosis where I know, I hear, I feel, I know what I'm going through, I know how I'm going through it, I know why I'm going through it, I know how to fix it, I know how to love me, I know how to show compassion. Okay. It's
Mhm.
compassion. I know how to show compassion for me when I have done those things. I have to learn how to reestablish trust with myself. And one of the key components is trial and error. What do you think, sis? I think trial and error. You have to, you maybe you make a decision or you do something. Greetings, sweetheart. Maybe you make a decision and you do something that yielded you unfavorable results. Most of the times we stop and we give up right then. That's not the time to stop and give up. That's the time that you keep pressing forward. That's the time that you keep going. Okay. When we make a little boo boo, we keep going. The more you do that, the more your spirit will begin to trust you. And you will be able to trust your spirit, guidance, and everything that you do. And you won't question as much. What say you, sis?
I feel like with reestablishing trust, we have to acknowledge how and why trust was broken or compromised in the first place,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the part that we take for granted. At least I know
Mm-hmm.
I have done that um, many times, and I had to learn the hard way with that. So, for example, the more you say you're going to do something and then you don't do it, this
Mm-hmm.
is you're kind of reinforcing this thing of you're not, like, that you can't trust yourself to follow through with certain things, even if,
Right.
like, especially when you don't have to be accountable for when there's not other people involved, when it's really just you against
Right.
you, or your own personal
Mhm,
stuff. um
mhm.
when it comes to your boundaries or your own personal goals or whatever that is, your own commitments to self, and how we don't realize how much damage that can do unconsciously.
Mhm, mhm,
And then we
mhm.
continue to feed into that same pattern of not doing the thing. We start to lose confidence in our own word with ourselves. And it's through that process, once you, like, recognizing that, if you're at a point where you can recognize that, then it's like, okay, well, now how can I break that pattern? How can I start to change the behavior, the mindset, around how this thing shows up? And that's where reestablishing trust comes in.
Right, right. You know, one of the things that causes us to not want to move forward is the immense amount of pain that we've caused ourselves. Sure, we want to blame it on other people. And baby, I'm so sorry. Hold on, guys. My one of my babies over here sincerely says that we are pixelating. Sincerely, baby, if you would like to join us on YouTube, you can go over to YouTube at Spirit Wisdom Reset. Also, you can come visit us on Instagram. Excuse me, not Instagram. Facebook, and Twitter. We are live on all of those as well, sweetheart, if it is still doing the pixelating. But the immense amount of pain that we cause ourselves causes us to kind of pull back. And the way we look at it like a downfall. And sometimes a lot of people just get frustrated and bogged down and down on themselves, and they started to unconsciously have a pity party, whether they're speaking it out loud or they are, telling it to a friend or harboring it internally. They're having a pity party, and that is something that can prevent people from moving. It's something that can prevent people from experiencing things. It is something that can keep people from acknowledging the real truth of the lesson. And if we just get past the pain, because we're going to always experience it, we're still living. We're here. We're going to grow. We live. We grow. So we're going to always experience pain. Welcome to you all that are coming through. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we have to get past that. We have to show compassion and start looking at the vital lesson that we received from that pain. Get past the pain. Get past the pain and keep going. Get past the pain and just say, you know what? I'm worth this. Okay, so I made a decision. It's not a bad decision. There's nothing good, bad, right, or wrong. It just is what it is. I made a decision that yielded me some painful results, some results that were not easy to swallow. What it was a pill that got caught in my throat just a little bit. And because of things like that, we literally start to not trust ourselves and fall to a space of, pause, so to speak.
Or
Stagnant.
stagnation.
Stagnant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Stagnant. That's it. So stagnant. You become stagnant in that, where in that part of your life where you really need to grow. Reestablishing trust with yourself when you have, you take full accountability and it was your own bullshit that got you in all of this mess. When you take accountability, you get strength from that accountability. When you know that you did some foul things in that relationship, take accountability. You lost a good one, take accountability. But you can't get it back. It's okay. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But if you can't, don't hold yourself hostage. Say, damn, I just made a decision there, but let me see what that lesson was. And you start to trust yourself when you start being accountable, and you can say, you know what? I did that. So what can I do differently the next time? Because I ain't giving up. Okay. What you think about that, sis?
Yeah, I think owning where you're at, owning what you do and don't do, what you're choosing. That part is so important of that sense of like, you might not like or enjoy or want to be where you're at in life right now, but recognize this is where you're at, and then choose something different. And then look at, like, what are the things that you're doing, and are they in alignment with the trust that you're wanting to reinforce, right? That you're wanting to build, right? So if you say you want something or you want to do something, and then your behaviors and your patterns and the habits are not in alignment with that, then you're going to fall back into the same cycle that got you to losing trust in yourself in the first place. Right. And then I mentioned this in a previous episode about, like, you start to attract people and situations that reinforce the energy that you're already exhibiting, and so if you don't have that trust within yourself, then you're going to continue to bring these. It can lead to you bringing these situations, and it kind of showing up. They're saying something is about a bad connection on the Instagram side.
Okay, guys. So if you would join us over on YouTube or on Facebook or on Twitter. It's a very, very bad connection. We're losing people over here. So I'm going to post this. But when they come back and see the end, they can come over here and watch over here on the other side. Guys, follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter at Spirit Wisdom Reset. Type in Spirit Wisdom Reset and we'll come up. All right, guys.
Yeah, and the link to all of our other platforms are in the bio. For those of you that are watching on Instagram.
All right. Technical difficulties, but we're going to keep on moving. How about that? Hey, y'all. Hey. Let's see. Follow up. Okay. Watch.
So I'll just kind of, while you're getting us situated on Instagram, yeah, I think one of the things when it comes to that ownership piece is like sitting with it and recognizing, like, do I believe what I say? Do I actually believe what I say?
Do I believe it?
Like, do I believe?
Do I believe it?
Yeah, like, do I believe it? When I say I'm going to do something, and then you can want something, right? But then if you have that pattern or that behavior, right, then it's like, what are the steps to kind of shift out of that? And
right.
The reestablishing trust piece is recognizing where you're at within it, so you know how to move forward, right? So you can start and then starting, and then this kind of depends on the individual. Of, is this something where you need to start in smaller steps, or do you need to go full out, and what does that look like? How can you start to maintain or build that that ownership of your word and keeping that with yourself?
Right.
What are your thoughts?
One thing that I've learned about acknowledgement, and acknowledgement is one of those the hardest pills to swallow. Acknowledgement, because that means that you see it. That means that you see why it is you did what you did in the first place. You see why it is you made the decisions that you've made. You see it. And you also see you. You also see you in a clearer light, a light that you probably didn't think you would ever see yourself in, because you were probably talking about that mostly, about something you wouldn't do or what have you. But you realize that you became it. You became that. You became that in your actions and ways and habits and things like that you created. So you got yourself in a pickle now. You acknowledge that you're there. What do you do next? You move forward. Like I said a few minutes ago, you don't let that stop you. You don't because you're going to receive some sort of discomfort in growth. Now, it's only counted as growth when you can move through the pain, through it.
Yeah.
Because if you move past it, you're destined to repeat it. You need to move through the pain, because it's not going to go. In moving past it implies that you're trying to do something to not experience it. Baby, in the experience of the pain that you caused yourself, there's so much growth. There's so much growth to be had. So many nuggets to pick up in those times. So that is all of this that we're speaking about is going to help you reestablish that trust, because you see you as being honest. You see you as what you look for in other people. Those actions that you take when you fall down and get back up again, those is when you get back up, how you get back up, what you do in the process of getting back up again. When you feel like you quote unquote knocked yourself down, your spirit is going to see you as trustworthy.
Yeah.
You'll start to yield more favorable results.
Yeah.
You'll start to yield those results that bring you peace, joy, love, happiness, bliss. You'll have a more jovial experience within your life, fun filled. I mean, I can't really say how much more. It's It is in pushing past that, pushing through it, and coming out on the other side, unfolding into different, and different than what you were before, and the type of different that will yield you continuous gains, right?
Yeah.
Continuous gain. So when you reestablish trust as you're on this lane of yours that you're creating, you will see that your lane will then broaden. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like, so you'll be then operating in your light. Okay. When you operate in your light, it attracts like physical things. Okay. It attracts like physical things that oftentimes look alike. Now go catch that. So if in essence, once you start doing those things, you begin to then shine your light internally, and you're shining it, radiating it out from the healing that you've had. And once that takes place, like souls will start coming your way, like opportunities for what is required. The doors will open up. That will be your road opener. You know, people talk about road openers. That is a great road opener without any tools. Oh,
Yeah.
you are the tool. You are the tool. It opens those doors, and all these things start coming your way. So to help you continue to further your journey on your lane that you are creating. This is more of the blueprint that you can add. Like I said in our last series, our last session, um, this is your blueprint you're creating. Nothing is like yours. Nothing is like yours. So as you're in this area, as you're on your journey and you've gone through some things, if you come to this space where you have realization that you don't trust you, it's time. This is some of the things that you can do to help reestablish that trust in you, to get you back up and going, get you back motivated, get you back into the groove and the swing of things, that and get you back to your vibrational frequency, the peak of it anyway. You know? So what are your
Yes.
thoughts?
I think, just the benefit of reconnecting with yourself and doing that in a
Mm-hmm.
way that allows you to begin to trust yourself again.
Mm-hmm.
That there's so
Mm-hmm.
much healing in that, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And when you have that trust within yourself, no one can take that from you.
Yeah.
When you believe in yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you
Mm-hmm.
recognize that you have what it takes.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, and like, trusting yourself and believing in yourself doesn't mean that you have to do it on your own or that you don't require
Right.
help or support, right? It's about
Mm-hmm.
understanding that you have what it takes to follow through with the things that you say you're going to do, with reinforcing the boundaries that you put in place, with just making things happen,
Right.
whether that's internal
Right.
work or something that is external, right? And that
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
will and that you're open to receiving support within that. Because anything that can support you in moving towards the thing, whatever that thing is,
Yeah.
if it's career, if it's relationships, whether it's relationship with someone else or relationship with yourself, is it, your spiritual journey, is it your health and fitness journey, right? All of those things where, like, it's like, then you start to, like, be open to receiving the support, because that's just going to help you continue to reinforce that trust and that belief in yourself,
Right.
you
Right.
know?
Right.
And because there was a time where I felt that, oh, like, I had to do it. And, like, that's a lesson that I definitely had to learn, of like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't, like, just because I believe in myself or trust in myself doesn't mean that I don't need help,
Right.
right? Or that I shouldn't,
Mm-hmm.
or I should not feel guilty for wanting to receive help, or recognizing that I need help or support. You know what I mean? I feel like that's a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, especially as a Black woman, child. But that's a whole other
Mm-hmm.
conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Through that lens of feeling like you have to do it all on your own. You have to, be the quote unquote strong Black woman, that whole situation.
Mm,
But
mm-hmm.
that's a whole nother additional layer to it. But no matter, like, you know, but the core of it though is that, you know, support is not needing support, recognizing that you need it or want it, is not
Mm-hmm.
something that is exempt from this process and this, you know, and
Right.
this relationship with trust and how it shows up for you. Yeah.
Right. Right. Especially if you get to a space where you are, you feel really, really stuck. I think
Mm-hmm.
that this day and age, there have been so much, there is so much information, that one can be caught off guard or caught in a loop,
Mm-hmm.
because they're trying to gain the answers by searching the web, or they're trying to gain the answers through a book, or they're trying to gain the answers through a show. And in reality, those answers, the ones that are truly divine for your purpose, they come in synchronicities. They come in ways that is not rational,
Yeah.
for the rational mind. They come in ways that sometimes people will frown upon, because they're
Mm-hmm.
like, what? So if you really want to move forward in your life, you have to understand that there are forces that are able to assist you and guiding you to a space, and be open to receiving what you are connected to. You just have to allow yourself to be connected to that which is there to divinely guide you, and that
Mm-hmm.
alone will help you reestablish so much trust. That'll help you get to that space of comfort with oneself, because trust is about being feeling comfortable. Trust is about feeling safe. Trust, is about accountability, reliability.
Mm-hmm.
Reliability. Trust is about reliability. And so when a lot of times you don't trust yourself because you weren't being reliable, for your own self. You weren't even showing up for your own self. You weren't showing up for what it is that you saw. Like, you saw this vision, but you still sitting on your ass. You ain't doing nothing with it. You
Mm-hmm.
saw, you heard this divine guidance, and oh, you were so overwhelmed with what you heard that you got all emotional and just didn't do anything. You just stopped, and you just rested in that great feeling. Do you know how much further you would be in your life if you would have just followed that divine guidance? I mean, like, really. um it is just one of those things where we have to get to a space where we, know and love ourselves enough to rededicate ourselves to ourselves. Like we talked about last time, commitment. You
Yes.
need commitment. You have to recommit yourself. Like for me right now, I am going through a space of, you know what? I ain't going through that. I don't trust you. Now I'm jumping off the cliff, baby. I'm flying. I don't even see what's ahead of me, because I trust that, because I trust
Come on
this
now.
internal guidance so much. I have
Yes.
made so many decisions that could have caused me to turn away from this guidance, for listening to this voice. I have made so many I had when baby, listen, I had to get back up again. I had to keep going. Right now, I am keep going. Now I'm just jumping off the
Mm-hmm.
cliff. I'm free falling, baby. Free
Yeah.
falling. I ain't screaming. I'm laughing with joy, because I understand that what is guiding me is of a divine nature. And I am a part
Mm-hmm.
of that divine nature. I am it, and it is
Yes.
me. So because of this, I can trust me. I can trust me. I can trust me. And when time comes, because I'm going to still live, and I make a decision that's going to be like a gut punch, throat kick,
Right.
because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm going to use these same principles that I'm sharing, we're sharing, she's sharing, I'm sharing, we're sharing, for me to get through that next thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, listen, I have so much compassion for myself. You should too. You should be so compassionate with yourself that that type of compassion will hold accountability in every situation, in your relationships, in your, your businesses, with your, with your friends and family, your job, everything,
Yeah.
everything,
Oh yeah.
everything. I think that's like really, really key. I think it's important to settle into that divine guidance. I think it's
Hmm.
important for us to understand that that divine guidance will never leave us. We've just deafened our ears to it because of the lack of trust, because of the decisions we've made, because of the things we've done, because of the things we've said. Whether we're wanting to own up to it or not, baby, it's your fault. It's your
Yes,
fault.
the
You're
barriers
the
that we
one who made.
create.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
We create so many unnecessary barriers, a lot of which we are unconscious of. Um and we
Mhm.
don't recognize, like I mentioned earlier, like we don't recognize that the impact that these things will have on us unconsciously when we say we're going to
Mhm.
do something and we don't do it, when and we're not recognizing how it's showing up. Like it continues this cycle and it feeds into, and that's where like how this tends to show up. um a way that it can show up that I think people recognize sometimes is like not having confidence. Like, so
Mhm.
sometimes I feel like they don't have the confidence to do the thing, but underneath it sometimes, and there's a lot of ways, like, so confidence is just one thing, right?
Right.
At
What way
least
it
from,
shows up.
right, one way that it
Excuse me.
can show up, where that people recognize, oh well, I just
Mhm.
don't feel as confident. But sometimes it's
Mhm.
not, they just don't have the language or the verbiage for it. And it's really about trust, but they just don't realize that it's a lack of trust yet.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
they think they don't have the
Yet.
confidence. It's like, no, you don't trust yourself right now because
Mhm.
of, XYZ. And that could be so many other layers, but at least that's a way that I've noticed, with clients that I've worked with,
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
and even within my own journey, where I'm just like, ooh, I'm using this as a way to the confidence thing as a way to justify, but really, it's not that.
Yeah.
It's something else. You know what I mean? So,
Girl, yeah. 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 It's funny you
mhm,
said that because it's like we also use not enough skill. We'll use that too. I'm not skilled
mhm,
enough at something. But you're just not trusting your ability to become skilled because it's already there. It's already sharpened. It's already honed. And when it's divinely guided, then what you end up with is something beautiful. And you already have what you need. You just need some refining of those skills that you have forgotten. It was something that you've done before. And so we use skill level as a means or a reason to not do something or to halt something. Or we're an introvert. A lot of times we'll say, oh, I'm an introvert. I don't really like people. Well, honey,
mhm.
you just probably been hurt by a lot of them and you don't trust yourself because you chose to stay in that relationship forever. You chose to not walk away from homegirl or homeboy. You seen they was shady in the beginning. You just stayed there.
For XYZ,
So
for whatever the reason, insert the reason. Right. And so, and that's another example of how, like, we will continue to be in situations, or end up in scenarios that feed into that, that
yeah,
lack of
it's
trust
because
in
like it's
self.
like life. Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah,
so
and
we
then you'll get
have
all
to,
kind of people in your life.
yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead, sis.
So
I'm
that
sorry.
part. Oh no, 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 it's fine. Like, I feel like, and that's the thing. It's like, so that turning point and that thing, the opportunity, and the thing you'll notice is, yeah, when you start to heal that relationship of trust within yourself, what
Hmm.
happened, as within, so without, right? So what's happening internally, that those things will start to show up externally, and people might start dropping up out your life. You might start, things might start happening, and I
They gonna start
encourage you,
dropping it.
okay, to in welcome it. But that's usually the scary part for people if they're not used to it, especially if there's a fear of loneliness or being alone. That is a
Hmm.
way that it's like, no, well, I don't want to be alone. And that can prevent that could be a barrier to prevent you from people that are in that space, to prevent them from actually continuing to do the healing. But this is where, as we mentioned earlier, the support is so important, right? To invite support in so you can work through whatever those fears might be. And, I just want to share some overall context about the things we've been talking about, how we're sharing examples of how you might lose trust, how you can continue to manifest that lack of trust within self, how it can manifest in your life, but then also the barriers that can come up in the process of, like, when you recognize that you're wanting to reestablish that trust, but barriers will come up along the way. Mayette was mentioning about, like, you work through the pain, right? So these barriers and things have come up, and that doesn't mean that you stop, right? It's just an opportunity. It's just a sign that, oh, okay, this is part of what's been keeping me in the loop, keeping me stuck in that cycle. And now I'm noticing, I'm staying. The pattern has been, I don't have trust in myself because I have this fear of loneliness, and I will stay in relationships or in situations with people that aren't as healthy for me, because it feeds into that same thing. So that's just an example of how it ties in, right? But that's just one of many ways, and that's just an example of that. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, for me, with what you just said, I had I didn't realize this is what it was, but I had a lack of trust in myself that I am capable enough of choosing the right people, whether it be friends platonically or intimately. I had a fear simply because of the decisions I made in the past of choosing those of them that showed up in my life, that I've gravitated toward me because of that lack of trust. And so, as you were saying, right? And so when I realized that, I was like, but my excuse for that though was, oh yeah, no, they moving funny, so I'm gonna back up. I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna back up. Girl, that was me going into my little hiding space. And now, because I didn't trust myself enough to say, no, girl, you tripping. You've been, maybe that was the case before, but you've done a lot of healing. And look at where you are now. You are going to gravitate what you are. But if that lack of trust is there, that is going to be, because it's what you need to see first. You need to see that before you can fully enjoy what's behind that. So you have to go through that first. So I had to go through, like, damn, why don't I trust that? Why don't I trust me in that area? And I had to go through that process. And now I understand. It's not that, oh, you moving shady, so I'm just going to back up on off of you. No, it's not because of that. It was my lack of trust. And now I know that from where I am, I'm only gravitating good, solid individuals in my life. I'm only going to gravitate them to me now. I see that. I recognize that I walk tall in that shit. Okay. I walk tall in it. I know that I'm gravitating what I am in that area. So I don't have fear. I know that each party is different in their lives, whether it's friends or, platonic or intimate, everybody's different. And so I just allow people to fully show up as themselves without any judgment, because what they're really doing is reflecting me. So if they're doing something, they're reflecting something. They're doing something that's a little off kilt. They're reflecting something in that about me to me, right? That's like basic, but it's something that's so basic that we miss it. We want to get all into the woo, 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 woo things. We want to do all of this turning flips and, and doing all kind of crazy stuff. But in reality, it's simple. It's easy. It's easy. Just that simple. Just that basic. You are reflecting what you are.
Hard.
So, okay.
Why is easy so hard? That could be a whole episode on itself. I swear, like, the ease, because we are so used to shit being like extra complicated, extra, this long. It has to be this arduous process.
Come on, sis. And it's not. And it is not.
It's
It is
not.
not, y'all. It's
If
not. It's so easy.
anything,
Less is more. Less is
yeah,
more in real life. Less is
yes.
more. Less yields more peace. Less yields more sanity. Less yields more freedom.
But you
Like
know what I've learned through
literally, it
that?
yields more freedom.
The more, like, sometimes we have to go through these stages, and it's the more the more you level up, and like the less you realize that you need. So I think
Mm-hmm.
about so many different areas where, oh, you just, because first it's about just you, as in the, like, the novice phase, you are just accumulating all, like, you
Yeah.
just want all the resources, all the information, all the things, every go down every rabbit
Yeah.
hole, all the stuff, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
you start to, in that, I'm thinking of, like, that next phase of, like, the apprentice, and then you're kind of from novice to
Mm-hmm.
apprentice, and now you're starting to shape concepts off of this stuff. So you're not just kind of gorging on all the information. Now you're kind of taking things, and it's like, okay, well, what actually, what things resonate, what can I apply, those type of things. You're refining a little bit more, but you're still kind of
Mm-hmm.
depending a lot on that external stuff. Then you start
Mm-hmm.
to um, learn more about yourself, and it's through that then you realize, okay, well, what tools will allow me to be like, what tools can I extract? You start to reduce down, like, and really have, like, your main, like, foundational tool, so to speak. Then you
Right.
go into that, like, advanced stage of, like, you're at that point of where you realize all you need to do, and all the other stuff is just extra. You know what I mean? And you've mastered all the things.
That
I
part.
remember, as y'all know, well, for those of you who don't know, when it comes to tarot is a huge part of, as a tarot reader, one of those things I think about. I remember a time when, and even not just as a tarot reader, like, as a energy healer, as, different things that I've done over the course of my work, and the work that I do. These
Mm-hmm.
things
Mm-hmm.
where I'm like, I don't need, like, all the tools and the modalities, how I don't
Mm-hmm.
need all that stuff, right? But sometimes you have to go
Right.
through the stuff, and then you recognize, oh, what I need is just to. I went through all this stuff to recognize that, like, all I need is me, and this is just a way to express that physically, maybe through cards,
Yeah.
or to
Yeah.
for other people to understand, if you're doing work with someone else, and it can create that
Mm-hmm.
that's something more tangible thing. Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then there's power in that. So, and I think there's a difference when you still enjoy to use the modalities, which I do for all those things. But now it's just like there's no
Mm-hmm.
attachment to it, and there's no, like, oh, I need this to do a thing.
Right.
It's like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't have to
Yeah.
have this
Yeah.
one
You
thing to
realize.
do this type of energy work, to do this, to facilitate the healing for somebody else. Do you see what I'm saying? So,
Right.
yeah, what are your thoughts on that, or
Yes.
how has that shown up for you?
I listen. Okay, so the part where one establishes trust by doing, that part with the phase where they were to do, that phase you were talking about, they were in the advanced phase and then realize all they need is themselves. And so when you get to that place where you realize that's, no matter what part of your journey you're on, and you get to that space where you realize that, then that is the analytical aspect. You get to that and you've come to that. But a lot of times we stop right there in the
Mm-hmm.
intellectual aspect of the thing. We've done all of the studies, and we take that realization is all I need is myself, and we stop there. We stop. And if we stop there, we don't grow. If we stop there, I mean, we don't build the trust. It is in the doing of the
Mm-hmm.
changes that you've made, the doing of them things that you just learned, It's the doing of that that causes this trust to be reestablished with self. It causes one to be built up. It causes one to be able to walk into sureness. Like you're sure when you make a decision, you're sure of it. You don't have to second guess it. You understand because you listened from a place of previous action. You've listened from that place. You've listened from what you've learned from you in that action you took. Once you've done all of that realization and gathered all those tools, you got to do something with it, and that takes action. And in that is where that trust is really rebuilt. It is a part of you that is showing, because you're okay. So your spiritual self already knows that you can do. But your physical self here in this realm, you're riddled down with all of the things that you have experienced, and unfortunately it prevents you from moving forward.
Mhm.
But so since that takes place, when you take these types of actions or you get to this space, that's going to also help your physical beingness, your physical ability to just be, because it'll help you on a physical level, mental level, spiritual level, psychological level, psycho-spiritual level, metaphysical level. It's going to help
Mhm.
you on the doing will. And it's going to help you on
Right.
all those levels, reestablish trust in each of those areas, whether it's unconscious to you or not. Just trust me when I tell you this. If you take this time and look back on a time when you were going through something rough, and you realize, man, I did that. Oh, I did that. And you see yourself in, and you're like, golly. And then you move on in your life, and then you come with the situation faced with that same opportunity, with somebody different, some different situation or scenario, and you have a moment in that you could choose. That's where, during that healing process, and you decide to go back out there again, you developed all those tools. That's the moment right there where you to show action. This is the moment for you to reestablish trust with yourself in that particular area. You go ahead and you move forward. You don't stay still. You move forward. You take all those tools and you move
Mhm.
forward in that thing. And then then you'll be able to say, oh, wow. Okay. Well, I did learn that. Not to say that you won't gain more lessons in this next situation.
You always do. You always do.
Okay. Not saying you won't gain more lessons, but you get to build more trust in yourself by going through and choosing differently from what you did back then to what you're doing right now. Reestablishing trust.
Yes, the action is like so necessary, because how can you know it's working? How can you know that in the way that you're applying it, which is why I know, at least I can vouch for myself and for you as well, and like
Mhm.
how implementation and and actually in taking action is such a big part of the work that we do, and what we do with because like talking about things is not always enough, right? This is why we like to share. Part of the inspiration for this podcast was
Mhm.
of creating this podcast is like to talk about these concepts and then share examples, practical things, and realistic things in ways you can actually start to apply it. Um,
Mhm.
because that has been missing a lot in this space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, is that say that again, say that last part again, say it again
Yeah,
for me.
it's been missing a lot in this space,
What's
in this like
what's
the
been missing?
virtual
Tell me
spiritual.
before that. Before
Oh,
that,
the action and the implementation, and it combined with practical, realistic um examples and concepts, like how to make it like something
your
that
own.
is accessible. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
And
Yeah.
accessible, and make it your own, because this is now for you, for those of you who are joining us now. I can't see the comments right now, but thank you so much for being here. Listen, this is another component in creating your own lane. If you have missed any of the ones before our lives, you can catch it on whatever platform you're on watching this now. You can catch it, just scroll up and find the other ones. Okay, start at the beginning and then come on down. Listen, this is a vital component, that action piece,
Hmm.
as you were stating, as we shared, and all of the things that come along with it, as far as what takes place when you do act.
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to think about something. When you act, it takes physical energy to act in any way. But you need to learn how to exercise not only your physical energy to take the action, but your spiritual, psychological, and intellectual energy combined. And you will make a greater impact when you act if you combine all of those frequencies of energy in the action.
Mm-hmm.
If you combine all of them in the action, baby, it'll propel you so far ahead of your game. You won't even know what you don't even know. You will be shocked at you and your ability, and you will trust you even the more. Okay,
Yeah,
you'll trust you even the more. Okay, you'll be shocked. You'll be like, wait a minute, what?
I'm telling
Okay, I'm gonna tell you what. Um, I had gotten myself in a situation or situations in the past where I was operating out of an unhealed space, and I was attracting those parties and situations that were unhealed, and I kept continuously going through things, and it was like back to back to back to back to back. I'm like, God dang it, how much more beaten up can I get? I'm like, shucks, I don't want to keep. I surrendered.
you. Mm-hmm.
I was like, up, I submit, I surrender, I let go, I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm sick of me.
Yeah.
You know, things like, you're gonna be sick of me. Now, nigga, I was sick of me.
Yeah.
I was sick of me. I was like, girl, you gotta stop doing this to yourself. You got to be better than this. You have to. In all, I was bringing all these things to myself. I surrendered. I said, you know what? Show me. And then everything was being told, either you're going to obey and do what I say and remove yourself from certain things, or I'm going to strip everything away from you. For a long time, I was hard-headed and
It'd be
almost
that
had
way.
everything stripped away from me. But somewhere along the lines, I woke up and put my big girl panties on and seen more of what damage I was doing to myself for being disobedient to what I've been guided to do. I said, oh, yeah, no, I see myself going all the way down. I don't have to go all the way down there. I just have to obey in this area with the guidance that I'm being given. And I said, you know what? Let me do that. I'll go ahead and do that. And then, bam, I got a little bit more trust. Bam,
Come
I
on, what
begin to
Tupac
trust
say?
myself more. Bam, I begin to say no and mean it. I begin to say, yeah, no, I don't give it a second thought. I begin to stand firm. And oh yeah, no, I'm not doing that no more. So don't be coming to me telling me nothing about nobody else. I don't even want to, I'm not entertaining it. I don't want to hear it. Look at here. If we ain't
Mm-hmm.
building, I don't want it. If we ain't speaking love, I don't want it. If we ain't
Mm-hmm.
building with each other about something with internally, I don't want it. That ain't no more trauma bonding. I'm not going to speak
Okay.
on your situations and issues forever. And we're not going to have a continuous conversation about it over and over and over and over and over again because I don't do that anymore. So therefore I don't resonate with that. I don't, and those people don't come to me no more. We stop
Exactly.
talking. We don't even
Isn't it
communicate no more.
interesting? I'm telling you how
It's
like
like,
how
oh, I
those
stopped doing it
cycles,
in here. Okay.
yeah, like how instantaneously some of the relationships and the situations that you are in, like how it will change the moment you decide to
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
to
it's like
start.
it's no ill will against those other people or nothing like that. It's just
Right, it's
like,
not personal.
dang, it's
It
not.
ain't personal.
It's not personal at all. It's all growth. And I don't even offer
Exactly.
explanations anymore. If it's
Oh,
the, I don't
that's
have to, I don't owe nobody
oh,
nothing. I don't
one of
offer
the best
explanations anymore. I
things.
don't owe you nothing. I'll just stop. I'm quitting. I'm
Yes,
quitting.
one of the best
I'm
things I've
quitting.
done is stop explaining. Like when I say no, it's just no, no,
Yeah. Yeah, no.
and that's
Exactly.
like
No.
that's it. That's it. That's all. It's the end.
Yeah, no.
like,
We don't have to go
like
into why. We don't have to I don't have to explain to you why. I don't have to tell you all that
I
because I
don't do
trust
that.
myself to know why I said no. I have
Yeah.
reestablished so much trust in myself that like I said, I stand taller now. I
Oh
understand
yeah.
I'm operating out of a greater radiance of love, and I don't have time for anything that is going to try and take me back. So I'm not going to put myself in that situation. Baby, I trust me enough to see it a mile away, be like, oh, hell no, and keep on
Mhm.
going. Okay, I'm not
Yes, it's
doing
just
it.
the over
I'm
explaining
not
it,
doing
like
it.
or thinking that people most people don't deserve an explanation, and it's not even about and it's whether it's deserving or required an explanation. Some, it's just say what you mean, mean what you say, and leave it at that. If someone wants to ask, well, why, then you can still, they can ask why, but again, you still don't have to respond, but you can. It's still a choice, but volunteering the additional explanation isn't. Oh, that's definitely something I learned. I started to, the more I built trust within myself, the more I started to recognize how when I was explaining or over explaining, or creating, oh, well, this is, I'm doing this, or it's just no, I don't owe you an explanation. I just realized, why am I explaining this to these people or to this person?
And
Or
most
why
of the
do
time
I feel the need to do that? Right. Because I want them to trust what I'm saying, because at the time I wasn't trusting myself. You see what I'm saying? So that's how it was showing up. So it's oh no, I just need them to trust that this is true, or it's just and I was recognizing.
And a lot of times, I'm sorry, baby. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, a lot of times people ask why because they need to comprehend, they need to understand why it is that you can't do what makes them feel comfortable. You can't do what makes logical sense to them. A lot of times, people will ask you why when you say no, because it's something they stand to benefit from, and they want you to be a part of that benefit, but they want not you to be involved in receiving the benefit, but being a part of creating the benefit. So you say, can you do this for me? No. Oh, well, can we do that? No. Well, why is it that you want to do this? Because I don't want to. Why?
What's that thing, that popular thing, get somebody else to do it? I love get somebody else to do it. Whatever was that on TikTok or whatever. Oh my gosh.
Nope. Give it that.
Nope. Nope. On my Instagram, y'all, I made a post. And it says boundaries, and it's the close sign, and every it has opening hours, and every day it says closed. And I thought it was so funny, and I added a song to it. It's hilarious. There's a really good caption in there, so check it out on Instagram at UjoWajet if you want to. But yeah, it's about boundaries are really important when it comes to establishing trust and continuing to reinforce trust. We have some questions and some comments here.
Okay.
Let's see.
Shakira, oh my gosh.
Yes. Welcome. So let's see. My apologies if this is off topic, but what online schools are great for becoming a certified counselor or life coach? Well, I will say that it depends. And so I'll share my experience. When I decided that I wanted to become a certified coach, so I got certified as a health coach first, and then I also got a certification in life coaching, and now I'm actually in school right now to become a licensed counselor. So, and there's a difference between certifications and licensure, but I've been coaching for many years prior to working towards my licensure. Now, with that, there's many different avenues that you can take. So this is where what is it that you want to gain from the work? Starting from that part first. That's what I did. It's what is the route that I want to take? What am I passionate about? What am I feeling called to really do with it? What would I do as a coach? And then from that helped me decide narrow down the search for finding certifications that were centered around health and wellness, because that was what was important to me at the time, but then also had some options for growth a little bit later. So being able to add on additional modalities. So that was kind of my approach. And Mayette, what about you?
Well, for me, Chiquila, what I did was, as I was going through my healing process the very first time, I was like, what am I supposed to do? And how I'm supposed to help people. I know that I was having so many different revelations during that healing process because I had shut off for like 2 years. Only people I dealt with were the people in my home, and I needed to do some intense healing. And I asked, "What am I?" I got to the point where I was asking, "What I need to do? What is it that I need to do?" And so I discovered some things. Was via hearing or seeing things, and then I would journal a lot. And then I asked, so, okay, so what am I supposed to be doing? So healing one soul at a time, starting with mine, right? What am I supposed to be doing? Um, Tell me, how am I supposed to be doing what it is that I'm being revealed to do? And that's help people heal. That have been, because my desire was to help people heal, but how do I do that? I asked the question and I typed it in Google. Funny, I typed it in Google, right? And what I typed in, the school popped up, but it didn't have any keywords in there or anything. It was the first thing that popped up, totally unrelated to the question I typed in that thing. And so as I was listening to divine guidance presented itself to me. So basically I was asking, I knew that I was what I wanted to do, just like you said, find out what you want to do, how you want to do it. I took the approach of, because that's what I had been doing, is being led divinely. And so I just said, what am I supposed to do? And I waited on the answer. And waited on the answer to do the search and the question to use to do the search. That was so funny because the question wasn't really related to that school, and there was no keywords in that school, y'all, none. And so I looked into it and I was like, whoa, this school has a program that literally, based off what I was reading in the description, mirrored some of the things that I had done for myself during that healing process. And I had never been taught anything. And so I was like, oh, wait a minute. So I started looking more and into that same school, and then I started asking for more guidance on what I need to do with this part. Which part do I need to take? Because there were various aspects of it. And I heard you need to do it all. And so I
Mhm.
went into an intense 60-week course in 30 weeks. It was a 60-week course. We went through it in 30 weeks. When I tell you, I thought I had did a lot of healing until I went to school. And so what my instructor said was, hey, listen, you're going to be able to do this so efficiently. And you're going to be able to really, really reach those you are meant to reach, because you're going to purify yourself during this process. And when I tell you, I was so grateful for that. So you can figure out the common denominator for what she said and I said is figuring out what it is you want to do, how it
Mhm.
is you want to help. And if you don't know how that is that you want to help, ask.
Oh,
Ask
she
yourself.
mentioned, excuse me, she mentioned being a guide, teaching others about spirituality. So, I'll share with that. So initially I started
Okay.
off in, my background is health, fitness, and wellness. And so that's where I started. And then during my own personal journey of my own spiritual growth and personal growth, then and these aspects started to become like more prominent with spirituality. And then that's when my mentor appeared, my spiritual mentor, right? And then so on that aspect, on the spiritual side, I didn't start off with that, but I expanded into that later in my in my coaching journey, because that's what I was being called to do. It was like, okay, you done the health and fitness stuff, and now all these spiritual things are showing up, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
I had a mentor and went through quite a bit of like went through a mentorship program, did all types of other trainings and certifications and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Mm-hmm.
just through her, but with through other things that I was feeling called to do as well. So whether it was with energy healing, um, different other spiritual modalities. And
Mm-hmm.
so then I added that in. So I incorporated that in and started to integrate that when I felt led to do it. And then it got to a point where it was like, okay, now I need to like, I was feeling called to really center a lot of my work on bridging the gap
Mm-hmm.
between wellness and spirituality. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's kind of how it showed up for me. Um,
And you have a package that was fit for what you were. It's like you. What you're
yeah,
doing is
totally.
you.
Yeah, it
Like it's
totally mirrors my
totally
life.
you. Sis. It's totally you. You know
And
what I'm saying?
that was my little catchphrase. Like it's probably still on some of my stuff where it says I'm bridging the gap between health, wellness, and like spiritual growth. Um, and so that's how it showed up for me. So there's so many different ways that you can take it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it might be through an extensive structured school. It might be through a mentor. You could start with, if you're just wanting a basic construct of like general coaching, you could start with something like a program like that, and then add things to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, those are some ways, and then thinking about like, is this something that is going to, like, where do you want it to go? Sometimes you don't know, and that's okay to
Right.
not know. Um, but I do think it's good to have a mentor go through some sort of program so you can just have some basic foundations of
Mm-hmm.
structuring, because you might already have the experience of like and how to like share information and guide people through things, but how to have a structure and structuring a program or a
Right.
process and organizing things, and even on the back end of stuff,
Yeah.
that's
Creating
where
curricula.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly, that's where those things
Yeah.
can really be
that would
beneficial.
fit that would fit
Mhm.
your design, your personal design, to be able to create a curricula that would be, initially I was utilizing the curricula because we were told to utilize the curricula that was given based off of what the person was going through. And then as I progressed and I had got to the point where I had been dealing one-on-ones with hundreds of people, I started seeing a specific um, pattern of certain behaviors that I was able to create my own personalized curricula behind. And in doing so has helped me be able to reach people more effectively, because now it's more of me pouring in, totally using and still continuing to use this tools that were given to me because they were vital in that training, in that certification. They were vital, and are some of the basic foundational principles that I still walk by. And I say that walk by because every single breath I take, I walk with it. So in getting yourself to that place, not wanting to know one of the best schools, we can't really tell you a best school to learn what you want. We can only give you our examples, if that makes sense, sweetheart, of what it is we've done to arrive at where how we got our teaching. And so I would say examine what it is you really want to do. And like you said, it's okay if you don't know,
She
ask
said, okay,
for
where
divine
can I sign up
guidance.
with y'all?
Hey, what she say, baby?
She said, where can I sign up with y'all?
Girl, you can go to
I
our
love it.
websites and sign up with us if you're ever interested. Like, definitely do
Mhm.
that.
And she
Meditation
says,
and life skills at the school I work at. Oh, that's beautiful. But was hired as a school security. Wow. So I
mm,
do it on the side with the distraught students in the school. That's
I love it. I
beautiful.
love it. I love
That
it. I
is
love it. I love
beautiful. That is beautiful. Oh my God, that is a beautiful thing.
it. Hmm.
Okay, so what I want to do is to say this was about reestablishing trust, right? This was about reestablishing trust on while you are creating your own lane, because this is an episode under the live series, creating your own lane. And all of the previous lives, if you're just now joining, all the previous lives to catch you up to this one are on the platform that you're watching on. Just scroll up a little bit and you'll find them. But in creating your own lane, reestablishing trust is another vital component. Like, right, everything that we're going to talk about is going to be key and vital. Trust me. And we're only going to share with you from our level of experience, because we can gain the knowledge and we can know the words to say. Okay. It is not so it is not till you do the thing that you become the thing. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
you can hear about it, you can talk about it, you can gain all of the knowledge that you can gain from your learning and certifications, but it is in the application of that is really going to make it stick and make it solid. It's going to help you to reestablish a way of life for you. And it's not going to be what you're used to. I can tell you that from experience. When I reestablished trust in myself this last time I went through healing, where I was just snatched away from social platforms and I had to go completely dormant, I had to get a job. Do you hear me? I had to get a job because Spirit said, I need you to silence the noise in more ways than you know. I still have my babies, those of them who are supposed to be with me during that time of my growth. And baby, when I tell you they are benefiting, I am benefiting, we are benefiting. I had to reestablish trust within myself. Reestablishing trust within myself caused me to have a great reconnection with a love of mine. Actually, several reconnections with previous loves of mine. And I'm not talking about intimately, I'm talking about friendships. Even if we were intimate, there are friendships that have been reestablished because I reestablished trust with myself. And so, therefore, the healed version of them met the healed version of me in the right
Mm-hmm.
now. You understand what I'm saying? So, reestablishing trust for yourself when you're on this part of your journey, it's not about the rewards that you'll receive. It is about the joyful experiences that are going to be had. It is about the love that you'll now be able to radiate out to others. It is about all of the growth that you have, that you experienced during that time of re-establishing trust with yourself. All of that growth you had, all of it can now be shared and can be given to other people to help them. Now you can say a kind word. Now you can, give a divine direction. Okay. Reestablishing trust. You guys, listen, follow us on our other platforms if you have not. That's YouTube, Twitter, let's see, Instagram, and Facebook. We're going to be live. We'll remind you when we're live to go further into this series. We are going to drop Spring Equinox, our very first um, uh, episodes and series and episodes. So you stay tuned for that. Oh, and please sign up for on our VIP list. We'll start to drop out some of our after party footage.
Yeah, and that's another way, another place where with our those are that are on our VIP list. So let's say if you have any additional questions or you want some, that's where we're gonna every once in a while we are gonna have some private after parties and live streams that are dedicated to our VIP list, and that will answer your questions, will share experiences and things like that. So that is another way to definitely connect with us.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. So, and there'll be times where we'll bring you up. We'll be in a space together so that we can really directly answer questions and do what is required to help you in that moment. It is our pleasure. It is my pleasure. I am so grateful and humbled that you all have been here with us. And for those of you who are watching the replay, I appreciate you as well. We're only going to share our parts of the journey that we have experienced. It's all about expansion. And it's not the type of expansion that yields monetary results or rewards. It's about the type of expansion that you will expand spiritually, you'll expand internally. Therefore, the external expansion will present itself naturally. My name is Mayet Ajayeb. I greatly appreciate you for being here. Thank you so much.
yes, and I am Uja Wajet. And yeah, be sure to tune in, and you can find. I will drop the link to our VIP list here in the chat right now. But you can also find that link in whichever platform you're watching right now, because we are multi-streaming. The link is in the bio or in the description. If you're watching on YouTube, it's in the bio of our Instagram and our Facebook and our Twitter, and also here in the chat. So it has been a pleasure, and we look forward to seeing y'all on the next one. Bye.
Peace, 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 peace. Mwah. I love you.